today, this video, I've been meaning to film this video kind of the last couple weeks, but I was kind of debating how I wanted to do this video, if I wanted to do like just a sit down and talk video or a Q&A video, or if I wanted to do it like I did the TACK room video or not, but we're just gonna kind of wing it. We're gonna kind of go with, maybe I'll do a little bit of everything. But we're gonna be cleaning some of my TACK today because I haven't cleaned it literally at all this year, and it's June now, and I'm really tired of it just being gross and dirty. And it's good for, you know, your leather stuff to go through and clean it and oil it at least once a year. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna do my saddles for sure. And then I have like I have a few pairs of like leather reins and headstalls and stuff that I want to do as well. So, yeah, I have 2 saddles in my trailer as well. I have a cat that is playing with my foot. So if you hear him, he is super talkative and annoying. So I apologize if he interrupts me several times throughout this video. But, I've got my little basket of leather stuff here. Nothing really super special at all. Can you stop, Tic Tac? I got sponges. I've got, this is the Lexol conditioner. Works fine, I guess. Sponges. I got a lot of sponges. This saddle soap that's like almost gone, but I have the bar as well. Works pretty good. And then I have mink oil also. So, you know, we're just gonna give everything a little clean so it's not nasty. But I do need a rag, so I'm gonna have to go find a rag, so I'll be right back. Alright, found a rag. I think, let's just drag this off here. And we'll just do one of these. I'm going to do the nice saddle first. While my rags, it's not clean, I'm kidding. So, I got this saddle sack at one of the last tack swaps that I went to, and like it looks super cool because it's orange and stuff, but like honestly, what do you got, if any of you guys have these, what do you put in them? Because my phone doesn't even fit in this thing. So, just curious. I do have one friend that I trail ride with sometimes, and she puts like snacks in it, but I don't know what to put in it. Okay. So, actually, one thing I like to do, and I like to do this even like just before I ride, because just in the barn and stuff it gets dusty, is just brush everything down with like a soft bristle brush, but it kind of just gets the big stuff off. This was my dad's saddle that he used to ride soccer in, but I mean, he's pretty much just let me have it because obviously why does he need one? He doesn't ride. So I actually don't think it's like a brand name or anything. I've never found a brand name on it anyways, but he paid like $800 for it new. So, and that was probably 15 years ago. But it's kind of gross, so I'm just going to spray it. I don't do anything with the seats normally because they're usually like suede, but if anybody like knows of a good way to clean suede, let me know down below, because like this one's got like bird poop on it and stuff, but like I don't want to get it wet and ruin it. So I struggle with these videos sometimes, like these sit down and talk videos, because every time I do one, I'll like post, you know, what do you guys want me to talk about, or like any questions you guys have, and literally nobody comments anything. Like I get like 2 comments. So you guys will have to let me know if you're watching this for the future videos, something down below, please. Because I like doing these videos, especially when you guys do leave ideas of like what you want me to talk about, or like any questions you guys have, because it is interesting seeing your guys' questions and stuff. One of you guys did ask me on one of my posts on the community tab if I would ever do speed events again. Like I used to, because I used to do more stuff with like barrels and whatever with BB, and one of you guys asked if I would ever do those again, and I'm not sure if my vlog will be up. I would think it'd be up before this video, but if you didn't watch it, of our last show, I took her in 4 speed events, and I actually really would like to get back to like some barrel racing and stuff this year. There is a local arena like a half an hour from here, and like 2 Wednesdays a month they do like a jackpot at night, and it's like 4:30. No, warm-ups I think start at 4:30. It's like 6:30 until whenever they're done. And they do like youth and adult, and they have like food, and it's kind of just, yeah, like a little jackpot, and people bring their horses just to race, and there's like a $5 entry fee or something, but it's like super good practice for people like me that just don't like have an arena at home or like at their barn. So yeah, I actually would like to get back into that. Obviously I don't have a big outdoor arena at home, so it is hard to like figure out where to practice that stuff. So that's why I did want to go to this show that we went to this weekend, because to practice, like get out there and just see kind of where she's at. She didn't pick up her leads perfectly or anything. I don't think she even, I know she got the first lead, she was right on the first lead, but then didn't switch her leads in between first and second, so that's something she needs to work on. I'm just gonna go in with some saddle soap on a toothbrush, because this saddle you can see is detailed, and so the dirt like doesn't come out of the details. But yeah, I would love to try poles one day, but that's also just something that she would really need to practice, because she's so squirrely is what I call it. I call it squirrely, and she is just kind of squirrely, because every little move that I make, she like jerks. She's like oversensitive, you know, like she just jerks one way or jerks the other way, and doesn't like smoothly transition into her turn or something. She like breaks, and just, yeah, it's just all over the place. We're just all over the place, and she needs to go back to slow work. BB actually did, like before I owned her, before I got her, she was owned by somebody that tried to like turn her into a barrel horse, and like they put her up for sale again, like that she wasn't going to work out as a barrel horse. And so my friend bought her back from them, and then eventually gave her to me. But I don't know why. I don't know if she just didn't get along with those people very well or what, but I definitely think she could be a barrel horse. She just needs like patience and practice, and I mean, she is like 16 or 17 years old, so I mean, I don't expect her to like, you know, be the fastest horse in the ring or anything, but it would be nice to just go and do some of those fun events, especially at like our local fair. They have a rodeo usually, and then there's actually a barrel racing, like a weekend barrel race coming up at one of our local fairgrounds. They're doing like an all weekend type of thing, and you can camp, and there's going to be like live music and stuff, And so I told my friend Melanie about it because she likes to barrel race cash once in a while and was like, yeah, we need to go to that. And she was all about it too. So hopefully they schedule a date for that. It was postponed from, it was supposed to be this next weekend, but they postponed it for some reason. So hopefully they reschedule that because I think that would be so fun to do. And just go and do it for fun like that. Like it's not like I expect to win anything. But when I did used to do barrels with BB, even just at the fun shows and stuff, like when she was all over the place and whatnot, she would place. She would usually get like 3rd or 4th place against all these other horses that were probably seasoned in it. So like she has the speed. It's just like controlling the speed at the right times and not just going full bore and like blowing past everything. So yeah, I was really happy with how she did on Saturday. You know, she didn't she listened, she was patient, and she didn't just like blow through all of the barrels. So that was good. She has a really nice turn. Like she really uses her hind end to get around the barrels and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But what else did we do? We did the trot race, which is pretty easy. It's just like one barrel at the end of the arena, and then you just go up to it, trot around it. But you can't break the trot is the challenge. Like you have to trot the whole thing. And for some of like these horses that people just use for speed events or just use for barrels or whatever, it's really hard for them. Like they want to just sprint home because that's what they always do. And so some of the people, like they couldn't keep their horse at a trot. And so that was kind of the challenge. She got 1st place in that because we just maintained a nice steady trot the whole way there and back. She did the keyhole race. That was okay. She did over anticipate my turn. So like we went through the poles, and then like she must have felt me slightly pull to the right and just like veered off to the right. So I had to bring her back around to the left to go back through, but it was fine. We didn't break the pattern or anything. What else? Oh, and then just the plug race, which is the same thing as the trot race, but you can sprint it if you want. It was kind of odd because like there was not a lot of adults at the show on Saturday. It was like 10 million kids, and they had like it broken down into really weird, it was like really overly broken down into age groups in my opinion. There was like lead-in, pee-wee, kids, youth, and then adult. So there was like 5 classes, and I feel like a lot of them, especially for just a fun show like that, I mean it wasn't like a pleasure show or like really that competitive. It was kind of just for fun. They could have combined like youth and kids, or not youth, kids and pee-wee or something. Like I felt like it kind of took forever, but other than that, it was fun. Sugar did really good. Sugar actually somehow broke her lead rope while she was standing tied at the trailer, and like I was getting hungry, so we went back to the trailer, and Sugar was just standing at the trailer, like at her spot where she was tied, but eating grass on the ground and just didn't go anywhere. She was just eating grass right there. I was like, yeah, she's definitely loose. And yeah, we got up there, she was loose. She was just standing at the trailer eating grass. So it was kind of funny. One of the reasons why Sugar's the best. She's just so well behaved. I think the same person asked me about the speed events as somebody asked on my community tab as well if there was any like red flags when looking for a horse to lease, or like things you should look for if you're looking to lease a horse, or a contract, anything you should be aware of. And so I have leased out BB once. I've had her available a couple other times, but I leased her last summer to a gal that actually used to own her. And honestly, I've had a few other people talk about leasing her as well. And personally, like, I feel really weird about leasing horses to people that I don't know. And so she was kind of only available to like friends and family that just wanted to ride during the summer or whatever. And but the other people that kind of contacted me about her, really, I just wanted somebody that like had experience, because she can be so forward, like how I was explaining with the barrels. She just like is so jerky and over anticipates. So like somebody that's not like scared shitless of that, because she's not doing anything bad. She just like she's a little more forward and she's quicker on her feet. So like having somebody that has had experience riding and isn't afraid of horses was one of my requirements for her. And then I also, she was only available for on-site lease, which means she wouldn't leave my property. I don't really like the thought of off-site leases and me not being able to see her or see her being ridden or, you know, anything like that, because there's always like the occasional horror story of like somebody leased out a horse and the horse got stolen or sold or whatever. I don't know anybody that's ever had a situation like that, and I know a lot of people that have leased out their horses, so like that's not something I've ever really been afraid of. But it's more so the thought of like her going to somebody else's barn or somebody else's house like far away from me, and like what if she gets badly injured while I'm not there, or you know, what if they are riding her in some giant bit that she's never been ridden in before, or like they're riding her with spurs, because BB would not do well with either one of those things at all. So like that type of thought, like I would just like to have eyes on her, make sure she's still alive and breathing. So I've only ever offered leases available on site at my barns where they're living. And honestly, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people want an off-site lease where they can either take the horse to their house and have it at home, or take it to their barn, which is understandable. But it's just not something I've ever been comfortable with. And then when you read the contracts, I really encourage people to actually read the fine print, read the contracts. There's nothing really abnormal in mine, I don't think. Mine does say that like she's not to be stalled for any reason other than short term or for injury reasons. It says that she's not to be used, she's not to be ridden in like bits or any chains or whips needed unnecessarily or with permission of me. So there's some stuff like that in it. Honestly, I would read that type of stuff. I would read like the liability portion, whether if it says you're going to be liable for like for everything, that's where it would be kind of uncomfortable. The girl that leased BB last summer had brought that up, because in my agreement it does say like that the shut up, oh my god, TACK, get that the leasee was responsible for like vet bills and stuff, or if the horse got injured on her watch, she would be responsible for paying the vet bills and stuff. And so like stuff like that, definitely look at, so that you know what you're going to be responsible for or what they are expecting you to pay for. My lease agreement covered like the leasee was supposed to be responsible for hoof care. So if they needed their hooves done once or twice throughout the summer, that was at responsibility of them, because they were going to be riding her most of the time. And then I was going to be responsible for like the routine vet care, such as like her yearly shots and whatever. So read that. Make sure you know what you are expected to pay for. Some lease agreements will make you pay for everything. Like you'll be responsible for all the hoof care, all the vet care, boarding fees, all of it. And some you won't. So that's just something you have to discuss with the owner and kind of what their expectations are basically. Some people just want their horse cared for and be paid for it. that's not any reason that I ever leased out my horses. Sorry, I don't like that glare. The only reason I ever leased out BB was because, oh, did I have a project at the time? I'm gonna think if I had a project horse. I don't think I did, but anyway, I just didn't feel like I was riding her that much, and like, if I could get paid and let somebody else enjoy her as well, and she gets more ride time, then it's kind of a win-win for both of us. So there are good reasons to lease as well. Like, they're not all horror stories. I know some people just think they're all horror stories of your horse being abused or whatever, but it's not really. You just have to have a relationship with the person that you're leasing to, and that definitely helps. All right, this saddle is pretty much done. I'm gonna actually take the girths off of all these saddles as well, because I'm gonna just clean them somehow separate. I have no idea how to clean these mohair ones, so we're gonna have to look it up. Okay, this is my training saddle. It's nothing nice. This was my very first saddle I ever had. It's a Simcoe 14-inch. I can still fit in it, I still ride in it, but it's also the one I use for my lesson kids because it is a 14-inch, it's a pretty small seat. Shut up! What do you want? Oh. You guys, this is all this cat does. Every time I'm outside, anytime I do anything, this cat just... Why? Like, why? I feed them twice a day. I give him attention, and he still just walks around and meows at me. I don't get it. Okay, anyway, yeah, this saddle. So I use it usually for breaking out or like training as well. I'm using it on Dolly right now because like it really has, we've gotten our money's worth out of it. I don't think my dad paid a lot for it. But if it does get damaged or whatever, like, it's not the most expensive one in the barn by any means. It actually is, probably is, like, it's not the cheapest one either. Like, these synthetic ones that I have, and even my English saddle, I think were all like $60. This one's probably worth a little more than that, but it's nice and lightweight as well. It's got a rounded skirt. This was Sarah's saddle. It's currently Dolly's. It works okay on Sugar. It doesn't really have enough wither clearance for Sugar, so usually I have to put like some shims in it. But yeah, it works good. It does. This side actually, the fender is like broken. I have it duct taped right there because it like came off the rivet, like the rivets that hold it to the buckle that adjusts. And so the fender just like flaps around all the time. Had to duct tape it a couple different times. Okay. So I don't even know if I should really talk about this, but here's the thing. I got a lot of subscribers and I got a lot of views back in the day when I used to make like opinion-based videos, which I really don't do anymore. Because like there was just a lot of controversy and stuff, and like I'm not really a political person, but yeah, back in the day, like if you guys have been around since I made like reacting to other equestrian videos or videos just like about people putting their horses down and stuff, oh my gosh, like I have grown up a lot since then, but I do have still some opinions on stuff like that. So I work at a barn. It's not too far from here. It's like a half an hour from me. And I work at this horse barn currently as just like some side money. If you guys have me on Snapchat, like you see that I post it on Snapchat sometimes. So I work at this horse barn and there is probably around 30 to 40 horses. Like it's a boarding barn. There's a lot of horses there. And I pretty much just do like chores and like groundskeeping and stuff like that. No training or anything there. But it's just kind of some side income money. for my electric bill and stuff while I'm still growing my horse training business. But we have a horse boarded there that I'm pretty sure just recently, like they just had, I think it was probably only a month ago, I'm pretty sure they cut the nerves in his tail. So I don't have any proof obviously of it, but like me and definitely the other girls that do chores have been speculating it because I want to say early May, you know, my boss had texted me that this horse was not supposed to go outside all day long. He needed to stay in his stall after I was done doing chores, so I had to bring him back in because he had a minor procedure done on his tail and he wouldn't be able to swish the flies very well for a while. So he was supposed to just stay inside until like June 1st or whatever. And so like initially I was like, okay, whatever, sounds good. But like after going to the barn a couple times and bringing him back inside, the other boarders were asking me like, do you know why he has to stay inside? Because all the horses always go outside. It's got to be like a tornado happening outside or like negative 50 degrees for them to not go out. So they were asking like, why is he staying in? And I had said, you know, I guess he got a procedure done on his tail. I'm just supposed to leave him in. And they're all like, a procedure on his tail? And I'm like, yeah, that's just what I was told. I don't really know. And so I was talking to one of the other chore girls because she had come in. She also has a horse there. And we were looking at him and she looks at me and she's like, they didn't do one of those awful procedures on his tail, did they? And I was like, honestly, I don't know, but I had the same thought initially because like what other procedure do you have done on a tail? Like what do you get done on a tail other than cutting the nerves? And so we were standing there looking at him and because he's like walking around his stall because everyone else is outside and he poops, but he doesn't lift his tail. He like just barely, there's like a little bit of space between his tail and his butt and the poop's just like falling on the ground. Like he doesn't even lift his tail. And we're like, oh my God, like he can't even lift his tail. Now this was only a few days after the procedure, so I had thought, you know, maybe like his tail is sore, he's not lifting it, who knows? You know, I don't know for sure, so I can't really say. But yeah, this was like a month ago and this horse is still not lifting his tail. Like there was even a new horse in their pasture that we put out there like a week ago and he came running up to this horse like squealing because he's a pretty young horse, like squealing to meet this new horse and his tail is flat, like just hanging there, just like hanging, flopping around like a dead limb, like it doesn't move. And so like nobody has asked his owner or anything, but we're all just like, they totally did. That had to be what they done. What else would they have done? And he obviously can't move his tail. So, yeah, and I was only confused by it because she said that after a few weeks he could go back outside once he could swish his tail again. But like we haven't seen him swish his tail at all. So initially I was like, okay, well if he's gonna be able to swish it again, then I don't think they would have cut the nerves. But he hasn't swished it at all. He doesn't even lift it up. And so, yeah, we're all kind of just like, we're pretty sure that's what happened. But if anybody else knows of a procedure where that happens and like they eventually are able to move their tails again, let me know because I could be wrong, but we're just speculating at this point. Oh crap, that was a lot. Soak in. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, nerve cutting in the tail, it's not very common. Like I don't know anybody that's ever done it before until now, obviously, but it is kind of like, I don't know if you will actually lose points or not on it because I don't show Western pleasure, but in a lot of like pleasure events, if your horse has a really overactive tail, it's kind of frowned upon. Like it's not a nice look. And a lot of Western pleasure and ranch events are a lot about how the horse looks and how they move and how slow they are and whatnot. And that's fine. I don't have anything against people that show Western pleasure or ranch. But these people are big Western pleasure people. And so, anyway, if your horse has an overactive tail, because some horses will just, like, when you kick them or when you use your spurs or when they're asked to move faster, they like swish their tail out of sass. It's just not a good look. So to stop that, some people will just go in and they will just cut the nerves of the horse's tail so they can't move their tail. And like, honestly, that is a cruel thing to do, in my opinion. Like, horses use their tails to interact so much, like more than we probably even realize, but they communicate with each other. They use it to swish the flies, obviously. Like, oh my gosh, back at my dad's, we used to get horse flies like every now and again. We didn't get them often, but I knew a horse fly was coming because, like, first of all, they sound like a freight train, but the horses knew when one was coming because their neck would go straight up, ears were back, and they would just start smacking their tail around, like, didn't even know where it was yet. And I cannot imagine, like, especially at this horse barn, like, where we have 30 horses, like, if he gets bit by a horse fly and can't even swish it away, like, that's awful. I mean, that's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. Like, I don't have anything against people that show. Obviously, I just went to a show, like I talked about. I would love to be able to show, like, in the big leagues, you know, with, you know, Congress and going to the world shows and stuff. I'm not on that level, unfortunately, which I don't know if it's unfortunate or not. But I don't have anything against people that show. Like, my old barn owner was very big into Western pleasure. At the last barn that I was at for like 5 years, she went to the worlds in Western pleasure. And she never did anything like that to her horses. So once it starts to negatively impact the horse like that, like once you start compromising the horse, that's not cool with me. Like, the reason that we're all in this sport started with the horse. Like, we don't have this sport without our horses, so they come first, in my opinion. Whether that means you have to get a new horse or whatever, compromising them and their body is not cool with me. I don't think that's ethical. I don't think you have any morals if you do that. Yeah, so this is my opinion on that. I know I don't really give my opinion on that stuff a lot anymore, but I just, like, yeah, so every day now, like, when we go in, his horn wiggles. Yeah, he just, like, doesn't move his tail. It's just always limp. Just a limp tail. He like, poops all over the back of his tail and stuff. It's like, that's disgusting. You know, like, the horse doesn't want to do that. There's a reason that they lift their tail out of the way when they have to poop. They don't want to poop on themselves either. Alright, I'm going to do my English saddle next. Got Sacker's halter here, and I honestly don't really know what I want to do with it. Like, honestly, I'm fine with continuing to use it, but I have so many other halters, like, I don't even know if I really need to use it. It's like a large. It only fits Sacker, and it's only going to fit Grace. Well, it might fit Dolly, too. She's got a really big head, but I don't know. Do you guys think I should, like, do some sort of memorabilia with it, like a picture of him, like, hung in the middle, or what? I don't really know. Nobody else has worn it since he passed. Like I said, I'm fine with using it again. I have, like, 50 other halters that I can use as well. Alright, my English saddle is looking pretty rough right now. Oh my gosh. So, behind our house, there's like an old, massive refrigerator. If you guys watch the vlogs, I'm sure you've seen it. But we basically use it as a shed, like an extra shed. And so I had this back there for a while before we had this shed. And literally, like, the rodents and stuff just chewed on it. And so this stirrup leather looks fine. But they completely chewed through this one. like completely chewed through it. And so now I need, oh, and the rubber band for the stirrup. So now I need like completely new leathers, and I need a new band. Ugh. There's these stirrup leathers that I've been wanting to try. They're called the stability stirrup leathers, and I keep seeing them on like Facebook and Instagram advertised. And I reached out to them like on one of their advertisements saying like, totally would review these for you on my YouTube. Like if you guys want to send me a pair, I would totally like try them out in a video for you. It didn't really go anywhere. Actually, the girl from the Facebook page was like, yeah, totally send us an email with like your links and whatever. And so I did, but that didn't go anywhere, which is fine. I mean, I'm happy to buy my own stuff, but I always am welcome to trying products as well. So just figured I'd throw it out there for them. So this is kind of gross. But they didn't just chew up the saddle. They like chewed up my bright orange English saddle pad. They chewed up a bunch of shit back there. It's irritating. Like all of the like raccoons and like wildlife have just figured out that that spot, that shed, is like warm and it's dark and it's dry, and so they all just freaking move in there. So like now I just leave the door open, which I don't really like to do either, but it's just open all the time. So to kind of just discourage them from being in there, but yeah. So I would really like to use my English saddle for endurance, but until I get some new stirrup leathers, I can't, obviously. A friend did give me these too. These stirrups with the cages and everything on them. So those are really awesome, but they've got like the really narrow leather channel right there. So they can't really go on a Western saddle because they're too narrow up there. So I was like, that's gonna be perfect for my English saddle, but I have no leathers. So that's great. Great. Thank you, animals of the wild. So on my last video of Dolly, one of you guys commented that it looked like she had lost some weight, which is a good thing. And I think she has actually lost a little bit of weight since she came here, whether it's just from having more exercise or just from being on a diet, I don't know, but she has definitely lost a little bit, and I think she looks really nice right now. I hope that her manners continue to improve. I got her in the trailer Saturday to go to that show, and I got her in and on the trailer, and then she turned around, and before I had her tied, she basically like shoved me into the wall and just with her nose, and just walked back out of the trailer. And I actually like tried to hold her in, and she just like just ripped through my hands and went off the trailer. So I got off the trailer, spinned her around in circles, smacked her with the end of the rope, and got her back on there. And she stood pretty well for me to shut the door. But I just like hope she straightens out. I mean, I'm pretty rough with her, I'm not gonna lie. I have a little bit harder of a hand than some trainers in my area, or like some people like that I ride with. At this barn that I work at, some of the boarders just baby those horses so bad, and they're rude and they're pushy and they just like in your space all the time, and I cannot stand that, you guys. Like, I'll be honest, there have been some comments on some of my videos where people have been like, go away. People have been like, you give me Clint Anderson vibes. And honestly, that's fine. Like, I've never really had a problem with Clint Anderson. I think he's just a little too direct for some people, and people don't know how to take that. Yeah, a little too direct and not as sensitive in his word choices, which, you know what? Whatever. I would say that I am relatable like that. I mean, I try to keep it toned down. Like, in my YouTube videos and stuff, because obviously I'm dealing with the public when I make my YouTube videos. But I am definitely pretty rough with her. But I have to be, otherwise she will literally just run me over. She is not afraid to just run me over and push me out of her way. And like, I don't want to sell a horse like that. Like when I sell her, I don't want her to have those issues, because that in turn will come to look bad on me as a trainer. So I don't want my horses to be liabilities. I don't want them to have crap manners. They are expected to not be a danger to anybody, because that's what pushy horses will turn into. They will eventually just become a danger to people. Anybody that's not very experienced. Kids, like obviously I give lessons, so like if a kid wants to come up and scratch my horse, I shouldn't be worried about this horse just stepping on some kid. Like that is just basic ground manners of having horses, any horse. So yeah, so I'm pretty rough with her, but like I have to be that way with her, or she will never learn that she has to respect me. You know, it's not like I'm asking her to go run a marathon like I do BB. I'm just asking her to watch where I'm at, because she is bigger than me and she knows it, and that's the problem. It's like a lot of horses don't realize how dangerous they are, but Dolly, I think, kind of does know. She's bigger than me, she's stronger than me, and she can just shove me out of her way with one head swing, and that doesn't fly with me. So we're working that out together. Okay, this video is getting super long, and I've only done 3 saddles, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and like maybe we'll do a part 2 in a couple days or something. So yeah, if you have any suggestions on other topics you want me to talk about, leave them down below in the comment section. Please, somebody, if you're watching this, leave something down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.